All right, we are continuing on rewriting equations and formulas, also commonly known as literal equations, equations that have more than one variable. All right, so it says rewriting and using other common formulas. All right, key ideas. Here are some common formulas that you will see often. Your temperature formula from Celsius to Fahrenheit, simple interest, I equals PRT, and your distance formula, D equals RT, which we've used in a couple previous lessons. So let's see what this says. Solve the formula for temperature for Fahrenheit. Okay, when you're solving for F, you're solving for Fahrenheit. C is Celsius, F is for Fahrenheit. All right, so if we want to solve for F, that means we want to rearrange the equation to where F is on one side by itself. All right, so we can see that, all right, we have 5/9 times F minus 32 in parentheses. So to get rid of that 5/9, you have to multiply by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 5/9 is 9/5 or 9/5. And it's an equation, so what you do to one side, you have to do the same thing to the other side. So I'm going to have 9/5 C equals 5 times 9 over 9 times 5 cancels. Anything times the reciprocal, it's going to cancel or just equal 1. Okay, so 45 divided by 45, that just reduces to 1. All right, so that leaves what's in the parentheses, which is F minus 32. We're solving for F, so we need to move the negative 32 to the other side. We can do that using the inverse operation. So we're going to add 32 to both sides. 5/9 has a variable attached to it, so we're going to have 5/9 C plus 32 equals F. All right, so we rearranged this formula to write it in terms of F or Fahrenheit. All right, the next question says, which has the greatest surface temperature, Mercury or Venus? All right, so we're going to use the temperature formula to figure out which one has the greatest surface temperature. So Mercury has 427 degrees Celsius given, and Venus has 864 degrees Fahrenheit given. Since this one's in Celsius and this one's in Fahrenheit, we have to convert one to the other in order to be able to compare them. All right, so since we're given the formula here, Celsius equals 5/9 times Fahrenheit minus 32. Let's just take the one that's in Fahrenheit and plug it in. So right here it says Venus is 864 degrees Fahrenheit. So we can convert that to Celsius. So we got Celsius equals 5/9 times, we're going to take 864 and subtract 32. All right, 864 minus 32 is 832. So Celsius equals 5/9 times 832. So if we do 5/9 times 832, that's going to give us about 462.2, and that's degrees Celsius. All right, so Mercury is 427 degrees Celsius, and Venus is 462 degrees Celsius. So it says which has the greatest surface temperature. All right, so Venus 462 is greater than 427. So Venus would have the highest or the greatest surface temperature. All right, so if you want to look at that, you can compare, see we can converted Venus, that's the number we substituted in here. So we calculated Venus's temperature in Celsius to be 462. 462 is greater than the 427. So Venus has the greatest surface area. All right, the next question, modeling real life. You deposit $5,000 in an account that earns simple interest. After 6 months, the account earns $162.50 in interest. What is the annual interest rate? All right, so if we want to know the interest rate, we're going to solve for R. So if we have I equals principal times rate times time, we're going to divide by principal and time on both sides. So rate equals I interest over principal times time. All right, so now we have to plug in what we are given. All right, so it says that interest, it earns $162.50 in interest. So we're going to take that and plug it in for I. So $162.50 is your interest. And then P is your principal. You deposited $5,000. So that amount is your principal. And then it says T is time. So time is always in years. This tells us that after 6 months, the account has $162.50 in interest. So 6 months out of 12 months equals 1/2 year. We can put 1/2 or 0.5. And that's going to give us our rate. All right, so let's say $162.50, and then 1/2 or 0.5 times 5,000 is 2,500. So I'm going to take my calculator and figure out what 162.50 divided by 2,500 equals 0.065. Now, remember, you move it 2 decimal places to write it as a percent. So we can say the rate equals 6.5%. So the annual interest rate of this account is 6.5%.